This is XY Spark, restoring holistic, healthy masculinity. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here once again. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando. You're in tune to the XY Spark podcast, the podcast for men, where we seek to normalize conversations about men's mental health because we know that mental health is not a myth. And every morning we are live here at 5:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time to seek to create a safe space where we can engage in conversations about men's mental health. It is a Wednesday. The theme or caption is Willpower Wednesday. Willpower Wednesday. And we are talking about the beauty of a thought, understanding today that there is an art in mastering your thoughts. Mastering your thoughts is an art. So, we will be speaking about the value and the importance of learning how to master your thoughts. Why? Because most things that we do, they begin with a thought. Before we jump into our discussion, let me just remind you that the XY Spark podcast is a podcast that you can join live every weekday morning, Monday through Friday. Mondays through Fridays, you can join the podcast live here on YouTube, TikTok, or on the Podbean app. It is at xyspark.podbean, Pod for dog, B for Barry, EAN.com. Please subscribe, like, share, and please put a comment into the episode that you've listened to. When you like or subscribe to our YouTube channel, for example, you will see tons of other videos and materials, guys, that will help to empower you to start you on that path that's going to create a new perspective and help you to build a better mindset. For those who are joining us live at this moment, if you're live on TikTok, welcome. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And please keep those hearts coming, guys, here on TikTok. Our goal or aim is to get to 1,000 likes for this episode right now, right here in the moment. So if you hear something that resonates with you, please keep those hearts coming. And guys, thank you again for all the ladies who join our podcast live every morning. We appreciate your presence. Thank you for coming here and being a part of this tribe of men who are seeking to promote holistic, healthy masculinity. Mastering your thought is an art. Guys, one reality that we can't deny is that every single day and every moment of every single day, we are bombarded with thoughts. And we have no control oftentimes over how many thoughts flood our neural pathways. The reality of it is our brain is a very complex machine, right? Merely only the size of a fist, but yet it is one of the most complex organs that we possess as human beings. And because of its complexity, there are so many thoughts that the brain possesses the capacity to entertain, which is why so often as we get bombarded by all these different thoughts, it becomes overwhelming. And that's why sometimes you hear a person say that their mind is constantly racing. Is not a matter of the mind racing. It's just a matter of the hundreds and millions of thoughts that are happening intermittently in the brain. If we do not learn how to master our thoughts, then we end up getting into so many different diagnoses and so many different disorders that oftentimes becomes harmful to our relationships and harmful to us. So let's talk about why mastering your thought is an art. The main thing that we want to remember is that irrational thinking or intrusive thoughts, they will happen to all of us all the time. That is almost a given. We will be bombarded with so many thoughts, so many different time of the day, and oftentimes they come intermittently. The thing that we want to learn to do is we want to understand this, guys, that we can become the master of our thoughts, or our thoughts can become our master. So understanding this is one of the first steps towards having some control over how we react and respond to these thoughts when they pop up in our heads. And what we're talking about here is take the time now to do introspection. Do not get yourself into that space where you are constantly zoning in on the negative, pessimistic, what if thoughts. Because those thoughts, they are going to be there eventually. But there are also positive thoughts that are there. And oftentimes, what happens to us is we spend so much time focusing on the negativity that we miss the positivity that is right there on the waving gallery of our minds, waiting to be acknowledged. So, in mastering our thoughts, one of the first things that we want to learn how to do is to not give all of our attention to the negative thoughts. Why? Because when we give more attention to the negative thoughts, it's as if we're creating a wide open playing field for them to flex their muscle and to take control of our lives. You see, the difference is understanding that when these thoughts pop up, let us try to not ignore them or pretend that they don't exist. We want to learn how to acknowledge that the thought is there. And we also want to remember that these thoughts cannot control us unless we give them the reins, right? And what I mean by that is a thought can pop up into our minds, and we can't do anything about the thought that pops up in our minds. But we can do something about how we react to the thought, and we can choose to do things differently when these thoughts pop up in our heads. There are some persons who they may have thoughts that are way more intrusive than norm, and you may need to connect with a mental health professional or a psychiatrist to get some pharmacological treatment or medication that's going to help you to taper off these intrusive thoughts. But over time and in the long run, we want to learn how to acknowledge those thoughts in the moment, and we want to learn how to create a new mindset or a new perspective by choosing to not ruminate constantly on just that one negative thought. So, mastering our thought is an art because number one is we want to not deny that it exists. But number two, we also should not tell ourselves that there's nothing we can do about it. One of the greatest gifts that you have as a human being on this planet is the gift of choice. And so when a thought pops up, we want to remember this, guys, that a thought is just a thought. It's not reality. A thought may feel real and it may be very impactful, but a thought is just what it is, a thought. It's not reality. Mastering our thoughts is going to help us to remember in the moment or remind ourselves that I'm having a thought, but it's not reality. I'm feeling uncomfortable with this thought, but it's not happening now. It's not reality. So taking the time to do that reflection, that introspection in the moment is a keen way in mastering your thought. Every day somebody goes through something that's chaotic or traumatic. Someone experiences some disappointment of one kind or the other. Someone might have gone through a loss. Someone might have, you know, experienced some betrayal. Someone might have, you know, been stabbed in the back some by a best friend or a co-worker, and you are struggling to come to grips with why things happened the way it did. You never saw it coming. It's like you were blindsided. Now, you start getting into your head. You start questioning whether or not you possess the capacity to make good choices. You start blaming yourself. You start telling yourself that you never trust anyone again. So you end up in that space where you're functioning solo most of the time. And the reason why you do that is out of fear. The reason why you do that is because of stereotyping, because an experience that you had placed you in a position where you now feel like you can't trust anybody. You now feel like if anything is going to, if I'm going to be successful or if I'm going to get to my goal, I have to do it by myself. You might have been in a relationship and this person let you down or betrayed you, and so now you're thinking you'll never trust another woman again because of what one woman did. And you end up depriving yourself of living your best life or sharing that with someone special because you are creating this one size fits all, and it all began with a thought. Mastering your thought is an art because when you're able to go back and revisit this thinking pattern and recognize its irrationality, recognize its ability to put you in a place of depravity where now you are living this life in isolation because you are saying or you're thinking, I don't trust myself to commit. I don't trust myself to trust. I don't trust myself to be vulnerable. So you stay back, you stay stuck. You create this cocoon that you function within. Mastering your thought means recognizing that in life, these are some of the realities that you are going to face, that I'm going to face. We're going to face death. We're going to face disappointment. We're going to face betrayal. We're going to face times when you feel depressed, times when you feel anxious. We're going to face times when you feel discouraged. We are going to face all of these things. And as these things pop up in our heads, we have to learn now how to confront them. We have to learn how to challenge them to break the cycle, experience the emotions that comes with it, Just don't become the emotion. So, yes, mastering your thoughts is an art because as you recognize the behaviors that you have been displaying because of an uncomfortable event that happened in your life, if you're going to master your thoughts, you have got to start changing or confronting the internal messaging that you have been having with yourself. Go in and reconstruct the storyline. The storyline where you've been telling yourself you're not good enough. The storyline where you've been telling yourself you're not worthy of love. The storyline where you have been telling yourself, this is just the way I am. I can't do anything different. The storyline that you've been telling yourself that was inscribed on the psyche of your mind by someone that you thought was a credible source. The storyline that you have created out of a past life event where you were hurt or you were traumatized. The mastering your thoughts is creating a space where you're able to revisit this storyline and rewrite the script, because you see the big difference is going to be this is once upon a time the storyline was not written by you. You were only a participant in the plot. But in order to master your thoughts, you have got to shift from being a participant to now being the author and the director of that storyline. And doing that means taking the time to do a deeper reflection, to take a deeper look at, hey, this is why I've lived my life the way I have all these years. This is why I did not trust myself to enter into any relationship. This is why I did not trust myself to allow anyone to get close again. This is why I haven't been motivated and I procrastinate a lot because of this experience. This is why I have stayed stuck and I haven't done anything to, go farther in my career because I never thought I was smart enough. I never thought I was good enough. This is why I have remained isolated. This is why I don't talk about feelings or emotions, because this is all I know. But becoming the master of your thought means taking the time to go back to the source and evaluate that you possess the capacity right now, right here in 2025. You possess the capacity to rewrite the script and change your experience. So, mastering your thought is not something that's just going to happen like magic. It requires hard work. It requires intentionality. It requires for you as a man to recognize that you can form and shape a new reality, one that you determine the results, one that is going to take you out of mediocrity, one that's going to create a new mindset and a new perspective that will change the landscape of your existence. Guys, mastering your thoughts is an art. Why? Because you are the artist. You possess the ability to do things differently. So the challenge is this: become the master of your thoughts. Recreate your reality by exposing your mind to new perspectives. That's our thought of the day. Recreate your reality by exposing your mind to new perspectives. This is your boy, your men's life coach Rolando. You've been in tuned to the XY Spark podcast, the podcast for men, where we seek to normalize conversations about men's mental health. We invite you to join us again tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, where we will continue these conversations about how to become the best version of yourself. Always remember this, that personal development is not an event, it's a lifestyle. Until tomorrow morning, same time, same place, have a great day. Thank you for joining us on Willpower Wednesday. As you go off, please remember and always remember this, never forget that at XY Spark, we believe that there is a spark in you, and we will see you again tomorrow morning for another beautiful episode. Have a good day. This is XY Spark, restoring holistic, healthy masculinity.